The Square Ball Podcast.
Right, so welcome to the show. Brought to you with Levi Solicitors. 10% discount is yours at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan here with Michael and with Moscow, who's clutching his copy of the last Square Ball magazine.
Of the season.
Yeah.
Not ever.
Keep fighting, it said on it, and we kept fighting.
That peacock went to war.
This is Heroes and Villains, and we will do the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award first. Ken Bates, our former owner and chairman, who made us all very sad for quite a long time. Not all of us. We were sad though, weren't we? So
very much so.
We named this award in his honour. We throw open nominations for this.
You know who he made happy? Mean people. They really liked him.
We throw open the nominations for this to our TSB Plus members. We'll add our own thoughtful contributions to this as well. Who did we get in then on the feedback form, Michael?
A rare case of several people saying nobody.
No
this
villain
season.
of the week.
There's normally been at least a handful of people that you really dislike in a week, but I suppose it's been...
Chuck. Let's start with Chuck Late Biscuit's comment, which I love that name. No, just fucking get in. This is all capitals, by the way. No, just fucking get in. We are Premier League.
Yes, indeed. No villains today. Cooper got close to being named, but nah, I still believe.
What did Cooper do?
There was a bit of a mix-up at some point, wasn't there?
I suppose so.
There was a bit of a Cooperism, but he's been very good since he came back. So... no villains there. Not everyone agreed. The board, I mean, we've kind of just
did it in part one.
We've just kind of got over some of this stuff.
Let's do it again.
Grumpy Git, Kev, Rads, Angus, Victor, they made some terrible decisions this season that nearly cost us. Rads gets a nomination for preemptively tattling on Everton in case we got relegated, which, looking at the figures, I think we should still probably try and... It's annoying, really, that you have to do this to make the leagues enforce their own rues. That is the problem with it.
Because if they get away with this, they'll just do it again.
The Premier League just can't really be asked to deal with it, so they just go, what's the COVID losses? Is that kind of in line with everyone else's? Not really. Fine, whatever. You've sold the rights to a stadium name that you've not built yet.
They sold the rights to the rights, haven't they? Or something?
Yeah.
Some mad shit.
And the tattling as well. I think Leeds were on the wrong end of that too, because they send a letter in with Burnley and say, dear Premier League, will you have a look at this? And then that gets leaked to the press, the fact that it wasn't Leeds who put on their website and said, we are going to take Everton and hold them to task. They write a letter to the Premier League, as they probably should, and say, fucking look at the state of this. And
can you ensure that they don't destroy their records as well, delete their records?
Yes.
Yeah, because...
And then somebody at the Premier League is saying, oh, you'll never guess what Leeds have done.
Yeah,
so,
it was framed differently, wasn't it? And it happened sooner than the report of the letter writing was leaked. It had happened a good couple of weeks back prior to that. Yeah. Saying, look, it's obviously based around relegation, but why not? I mean, someone is cheating to ensure that you lose out on £100 million worth of revenue. You are going to raise questions about it, aren't you? Yeah.
Not that we had that money to spend, but we might have done.
You can't not hold people to account by the rules because it might look tin pot.
Who cares? It's business, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And we are a business organisation.
And we're great at the business side.
There were some complaints about Radrizzani and Orta celebrating on the pitch, feeling like after the season that we had, they had no right to. I don't mind so much about that.
Metley Chris says, get off the pitch, you hairy scrote, and don't sign any more La Liga rejects.
That's not talking about Raphinha, we should say.
No. Yeah, I mean, the stuff on the pitch...
I think the less helpful thing was Orta shouting in the face of a fan about no Premier League for 17 years without me. That feels a bit unseemly. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
but equally, I get it as well.
Yes, I suppose. I don't know if I'm angry enough about this season to sort of run after Victor Orta and shout about Junior Firpo in the street. It's quite a strange interaction. Anyway,
people care, don't they? It's so much of your identity is wrapped up in this bloody nonsense of a football game that when it feels like the actions of certain people are jeopardising it, people get wound up, don't they? And they start to vocalise it, whether it's right or wrong.
And it's the only way you can really do it with the board as well, because they essentially have to sack themselves or be told they're doing a bad job if you think they're doing a bad job.
Yeah,
true. Whereas a manager can go, okay, he's not a very good right back anymore, I'm going to take him out of the team. A board can just stay there making shit decisions forever, as we had forever with Ken Bates when he was in charge. Like and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. You just had to
suck it up.
You just had to either call him,
and he revelled in pointing this out.
You had to call him nasty names or just accept it.
Yeah.
And
I suppose it's remembering that bar for when I did used to shout at people in the street that it was Ken Bates and all the absolutely terrible things that he did as a person. Whereas it's just like, Junior Firpo's not very good.
Players.
Yeah, I got that. It feels like a minor crime, but I suppose in the moment, I think my take on it is it just didn't seem like a moment for considered discussion from either side. It was just everybody's going to start shouting at each other, so they did, and then we move on.
I feel like for Victor's part as well. Just leave it, Victor.
Yeah,
really. I mean, he's there with his wife and stuff, obviously as well on the footage. Just walk away. You get the feeling she's probably thinking, "Oh God, not this again."
It's probably been 40 years of people trying to tell Victor to walk away.
I mean, as well, the other thing I try and remember is that there's a human aspect to this as well. And as angry as you can get at these people, and not with Ken Bates, by the way, that's different.
Well, he was horrible to people.
I was going to say he was deliberately doing a dickish job of things.
It wasn't only at Leeds. Ken Bates, his entire life, was terrible to people.
I don't think for a second Victor Orta thought Rodrigo will be shit, therefore I will buy him. It hasn't gone well.
All the board, they want the same that we want. It's just people obviously disagree on the execution and then some of the foot in mouth stuff that's happened. And
it's fine to question it if he is bad at his job, essentially. If you look at the money spent and go, well, this is a terrible return on investment here, and that is your job, it falls squarely on him. It's fair enough, I think, that people are able to say, well, why are you not very good at this?
Yeah, it's the same structure as before. The players are either brilliant or useless. Manager doesn't know his best team. He always picks the wrong players. And the board of directors are a bunch of idiots. They couldn't organise a paper bag. That's the way of it.
That is football.
Yeah.
I do agree, though, that somebody should take, as should have booked Monday off said, someone should take Radz's phone off him. He does have a habit of just firing it off at the wrong time, doesn't he? Like I said, screen time. Somebody employ screen time with him, and it deactivates. Maybe put a breathalyzer on it or something. When he gets to wine o'clock at like 11 o'clock, don't message people. Yeah,
I think Chilino's wine o'clock used to be about 11 in the morning, didn't it?
I think Ken's did, to be fair.
Yeah,
because there were many stories of him falling asleep on the sofas inside the offices at Ellen Road.
It wasn't always wine.
No,
with Chilino.
Sometimes beer as well.
Good save. Is this our barometer for chair people?
How early in the day are they drunk? Yeah, okay, fine. It's not. They're better than most of what we've had, aren't they?
They're conscious past lunchtime.
Yeah. I mean, we've met Angus a few times, and he never seemed more than tipsy to me.
No.
So
particularly in the morning.
I wonder if that's why he wasn't on the pitch at Brentford, because he was just passed out drunk in the bogs.
Brentford. Speaking of Brentford, Canos got a number of nominations, but although Canos surely
he's in both categories as Canos, essentially for the same thing, for being a wanker, but it helped in this case. So I don't know. I would not put him in the villain category at all. I know he did score, which was temporarily annoying.
Philip calls him a dick face, bus stop in Hounslow downgrade on Alioski's haircut twat.
Seems fair.
And makes a very good point that Thomas Frank was furious with him, but really should be more furious with himself for even having Canos in his squad.
Variation on a theme. Suck on that, you daft little weasel twat, says Big Dave.
It's because we all the mature responses at once. Little irritating bee-shagging bastard, says Kisnorbo's knees.
Although it helped us, didn't it, and playing against 9 men. I'm glad that was the outcome of the season. So let's not get too hasty on dishing out the bats on Canos. Who else we got? Doubters? Nah.
Not me.
No.
Oh, I always had faith.
Of course you did. Frank Lampard. Ungracious of him to not get relegated and allowing Burnley to take the fall. I mean, factor him out of it. I'd rather have Everton in the Premier League.
Yeah, they're
a good club, aren't they?
I mean, a good club that is obviously
they're a good institution
that is breaking,
but the financial doping and your manager both twats.
It's a Lampardless Everton that we need, isn't it? Dave Guile is in so issue 8 of the Square Ball on sale from our website, or if you subscribe you just get it posted to you automatically. I mean, what a dream. Has written about what a beautiful club Everton have always been, that they're just one of those teams that, nice old stadium, admittedly that they're knocking down, but usually a good kit and like decent players, like good game against them and all that, and then you just stick Frank Lampard in the middle of it and you just think, just fucking close the place down.
They will sack him soon enough. It'll be probably gone by Christmas.
Yeah.
Because as well, they're going to have a summer of... Well, actually, I saw today they're on about signing James Tarkowski for 120 grand a week.
What?
Well done.
They don't learn, do they?
Nope.
They don't
Which
learn.
is the funny part.
So, I mean, they're already right at the limit of financial fair play stuff, so I could hope the game.
It's the old...
Keep spending.
If I take a loan out to pay off my credit card, I can use my credit card again. Alistair, very specific nomination, says myself and my mate Ben for making 3 children cry celebrating Harrison's goal. Alistair does go to pains to point out that these were his children and not just random kids. Although I have heard Alistair does like to make random children cry.
Wait, is Thomas Frank nominated?
VAR gets a nomination for being a fucking joke. Always, says someone, give Greenwood a razor.
I mean, I did think that goal was offside, I have to say. On first viewing, I was like, yeah, he did look off.
This is Thomas Frank's post-match comments that kind of went below the radar. The bit where he says, well, do we have the audio?
No.
I think it was a bad football game, to be fair. If you've seen our dressing room after the game, they're very disappointed and angry. It just shows how much the game meant to us that we wanted to win, which is funny. But then, yeah, about Jackie's goal, he said it's why it's difficult and we still get a deflection when it doesn't matter for whatever the relegation or our position or anything. But I would like to know about the second goal, why it's not offside from VAR. I asked the refs about that, so it's not a big thing, just for me to understand it. So fair play to Leeds, congratulations to them. He said the gritted, horrible, bitter, whiny teeth.
Well, there's a very simple explanation in that it got a deflection, didn't it? So it was the deflection of the defender's foot that took it in the direction of Rodrigo, so therefore he couldn't be offside from that.
And also, if you're talking about someone interfering with play, I don't think Rodrigo was changing the habit of 90 minutes in stoppage time, that he was suddenly a factor.
And more to the point, I hope actually I've got the ruling wrong there and they should have been given offside and wasn't.
It was, because if you look, you can see from behind the goal, it doesn't... Even with the deflection, I don't think it blocks the goalkeeper's view of it at all.
Rodrigo is just standing.
It's the sort of thing that Kasper Schmeichel goes mad about because he's an entitled little baby.
Now, steady on, if you're a fan of Thomas Frank, he has got a few nominations, by the way. So you might want to...
Yeah, so he's nominated for that, and then also Keith says, I just don't like him. I think it's fair. And then Morley Ryan, don't think he's done anything this time, but he just looks like a creepy mad scientist. Looks like he's been up all night completing sinister experiments.
Peck-sniffing lizard, as somebody else says.
Someone did post a video on Twitter of him eating a pizza, and even that's disturbing.
It was knife and fork.
He was like, he was holding it, but he was aggressively biting at it like it was alive.
A live pizza. Caught in the wild, eating it raw.
Oh, banter. Hey, banter. Hey. It's just banter. It needs to be factually accurate, though, do you remember?
It does.
It does. Anyway, Burnley, not villains, are they? What's Jelly nominating Burnley for? Is it fine to tar that entire town in the way that he is suggesting?
He's got in fairly heavy on Burnley. A tin pot town full of racists, sexists and homophobes who torture their fans with archaic football practices. Good of that great bunch of lads from Saudi Arabia to fight the good fight and help get them out of the league on our behalf.
He's done the old reverse joke there,
exactly.
Hasn't he?
Yeah.
But you know, the planes with banners behind them do not hire themselves, do they?
No. So we're going to blame everybody.
No, not everybody, but just those people specifically who hired that plane can. Well, they've got many more games and opportunities to fly their proud message next season.
Sky gets some nominations for their standard of coverage about Leeds staying up. They've had to cut away and show some crap at the Etihad or whatever. Rodrigo gets a couple of nominations as well. I think it's all self-evident why. Liverpool fans nominated as well for crying.
Rodrigo was awful. As we are staying upstairs, even in what should have been nothing but a brilliant memory, Rodrigo still put a terrible performance when nothing went right. Let's just ship him out. And also, Baz, Earl of Wakey, criticised him as well. Just saying, looking at the replay of Harrison's goal and look at his reaction, there wasn't one.
I'm not worried about
it. I think get him out in shouting layers.
I mean, watching him last week against Brighton, he was out on his feet with like 15 minutes to go. So I can imagine
he's not fit enough.
So I can imagine when that ball went in, he's like, I'm not running over there, but I'm really happy. Like,
to the pants I go.
I don't imagine.
No, they need to kick off again. Put your clothes back on.
I don't imagine.
It's not an unhappy man who strips off, is it?
No. So he enjoyed himself in his own way, but yeah, the half time. It was just before half time when Michael mentioned Rodrigo hadn't touched the ball for a while, and I was like, I completely like he was like the Manchester City game in my mind as a thing that just wasn't part of my consciousness, and in a game like that, like there's obviously good things there, and both Bielsa and Marsh think he's an absolutely fantastic human being, and the players have even said that in training, like, he's really crucial and is a fantastic part of what they do.
Work.
But just it's never there, is it? And that's 2 seasons, and it feels like there was that burst of form when Marsh came in, but it's drifted away.
Experiment, Moscow.
Yeah,
let him go home. Let him be happy again.
The more the pressure went up over the last couple of weeks, the less Rodrigo we saw. There was that good cross for Raphinha to miss one there.
Yeah, Liverpool fans were mentioned by Mukau White. I think that's a tribute to you, Moscow. They're crying because they're not going to win the quadruple, and making out as if this is the way they always do things, always failing, he puts in quote marks, or she. I have no idea what this is specifically referring to, but I love the idea that this is equated to them always failing. I wish we could fail as much as they do.
They're only going to win the 3, aren't they? Poor lads.
Pontus, as well, as a final nomination here, nominated for his lack of own goal action.
Yeah, I mean, he had a low-key game again, didn't he? Yeah. We always expect something from Pontus in these games.
Did you see his glance over at the celebrations when the second goal went in? It was just a glance. I wish I could be there. I wish that was me.
He did also, wasn't it his pass to David Raya for our first goal?
I don't think that's really.
Is that an assist or a key pass? Is that what we?
It was better than nothing from him, wasn't it? But yeah, he. Not quite Beckford levels of turning it off against Leeds, but he's probably played it about right. I wasn't quite sure when he was saying, like, I used to be there, Calvin Phillips.
We do. I've just realised we've got one on the sheet here that I've missed. The cricket club man. Have you seen West Ham Ralph saying there's a lad at his cricket club who decided that it was fun to say that Burnley had equalised in the 90th minute? I bought it big time as I sunk to the floor. Others were trying to work out if he was having me on. Yes, they were. Don't
mess with Ralph that way. Nobody should be messing Ralph around.
Although TJ at Moscow, you're in the firing line here. You should never ever again, despite being a good writer, says TJ.
He says brilliant writer. He says
I'm not prepared to give you that
exact
compliment.
Quote from TJ. I love him and he's a brilliant writer.
He's an acceptable writer, but may he never utter the words, they will never win another game ever again. Yes, you said that about, what was it, about Burnley and Newcastle and Everton?
I think that's probably fair.
You can say it about Norwich and Watford if they end up in the Premier League again, because they don't generally.
I just realised I was looking up before. Poor little old Sam Byram went off in the first half of Norwich's last game. His hip locked up. I'm sure he's had lots of hip injuries up to now. I hope he's not going to have another.
Does that mean he's rigid? Can he not sit down?
Another 2 years out for little Sam. He's getting too good at the piano, but I hope. Because that was the only good thing about Norwich towards the end of the season, is that Sam Byram was being converted into a left-sided centre-back because Dean Smith is a football genius. But it was apparently going fine. He's fit again, playing games. Little Sam back to his getting back to his best, and now his hips locked up. I hope he's all right.
Right, villain of the week for the final time during the active football season this season.
I think probably the most horrendous thing I've heard through all this is the way Thomas Frank eats a pizza.
Yeah, it seems fair.
And whinging about, I mean, why, even just for the love of...
But his lack of ability meant that we won.
But just for the love of football, what happened at the end of that game and how beautiful it was, given that it doesn't matter, he even says... doesn't matter anything to Brentford.
For a lack of humility?
Why would you be sitting down there and going, I think that goal should have been chalked off, actually? Why not?
For a man we've never shown anything but respect to say something like that.
Why try to start a debate about VAR? Can you imagine? Already, actually, there were two things I noticed. The press... somebody tweeted, it wasn't one of the Leeds journalists, but they tweeted that Thomas Frank had signed a letter to the media. I don't know if it came from all the managers, thanking them for all their hard work. And they said, but a lot of the goodwill is slipping out of the room because it's 7:30 and he still hasn't turned up for his post-match press conference. So we kept all the journalists waiting. On the last day of the season, on a beautiful, warm day in West London, when you really just want to file your story and go down the pub, and then he sits down and he's like, we really need to start talking about VAR. Oh, God, Thomas, it's summer. It's over. Let it go. No, he was offside for that last goal. It really, there's an important point. It didn't matter to us. It doesn't matter. Like, Leeds would have stayed up anyway. Nobody absolutely cares. Michael is showing me the video of Thomas Frank eating a pizza and I don't like it. But it's the last thing you need to hear.
Let's have a look.
Something about his eyes. His eyes are concerning me.
There's an intensity there, isn't there?
Yeah, it is very intense.
Thomas Frank for intense pizza eating.
And for trying to start an argument, for keeping the world's press waiting for 2 hours and then trying to start an argument about VAR after the last game of the season.
But he's had a good season. He's done all right, hasn't he, Thomas Frank? He's seen them to 13th place finish. So
he's probably quite a good manager. Done well.
I mean, they've got quite a good... it was interesting, Brentford's website, straight after they have their squad moves all set up and like they're promoting players from their infamous B team who've impressed last season and now will be part of the first team squad next year, and it's all kind of like, it's all quite a good setup, really, isn't it?
Does he get to go into the 18 with Hannibal and Face and all that now?
They get to modify the van.
So he's having it for his pizza eating. Fine, and that's fair enough. And keeping people waiting. Absolutely no excuse, and it's nothing to do with the fact
it's bad manners, isn't
manners
it?
And respect.
It's rude.
Yeah. Manners, yeah, lack of manners. The Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week award nominations.
Berardi himself
Didn't play.
Well, but he's
dressing room
important to have around the place, isn't he? And he has played since he went to FC Sion, but they were trying to stay up. They would have gone into a playoff if they finished second bottom, but with a 3-3 draw against Servette, they got up to 7th in their final position.
Which sounds higher than it is. It's quite a small division. It's a 10 team.
7 out of 10. I hadn't scrolled that far down on the sheet, and I thought 7th. That sounds all right. Oh no.
Yeah, it was basically one team cut adrift at the bottom. Then
it's all Scotlandy, isn't it?
Yeah, the ninth team plays the second team in the division below as like a playoff thing, and they were 3-1 down on 78 minutes.
But I'm just looking at this, and so Lausanne, who finished 10th. I mean, they're only 7 places off the European spots.
That's one way of looking at it.
And it's Luzerne who will have to play in the place. They finished level on points, but with a worse goal difference than Grasshoppers, who we were playing in the UEFA Cup not so many years ago. And then Sion, 1 point ahead of them. So well done, Berra.
Acting as a counterpoint to nobody being nominated for the Villain of the Week award, everyone is nominated for Hero of the Week award.
Or as Jane puts it, fucking everyone.
Phillips, Rafinha, Harrison, Gelhardt, Firpo, for fuck's sake, and the whole gorgeous town of Newcastle. Everyone is a hero.
Sam from a town full of dingles picks out particularly the 11 on the pitch. Solid performance, 4-1-4-1, worked well.
Getting into the, we need to go straight into Rapha as part of everyone. Rafinha, maybe the last we see of him.
Yeah,
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
But we couldn't really ask much more from him in the end.
There were rumours gurgling around on Twitter today that there's a transfer request gone in. I just don't see that myself. I think there'll be a willing agreement to sell him probably.
Yeah, it's because there's probably no need for it, is there?
No,
that's the thing. And you lose. You normally lose bonuses and stuff, don't you, as well, if you hand in a transfer request. Better to just get your agent to shithouse it. That's what agents normally do.
You'd hope it would just be quite amicably normal. Like, I want to go to Barcelona and they're going to give you loads of money. Is that all right? Like, yeah, that's okay.
He'll come back one day when he's like 31 or something. He's had his fun. He's won his medals. Could just come back and have a nice time in Leeds.
And what the way he's left us. I mean, there have been times during the season where you look at him and you think, is he already thinking Barcelona? And I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't hold it against him if there's been times when he has already been thinking, I could just sack this off and go play to Barcelona. But he's absolutely made sure that he left us with something.
That's what it said, yeah. Alistair said it's got to be Rapha. If that's the last we see of him, he certainly gave his all and left us with some great images. And Gouldy, God bless Gouldy, who's just above there in the comments. Bit of wishful thinking, I suspect. Let's face it, he's staying. No amount of money could pull him away from the thrills of a turbulent season like this. Deco might have other ideas, though.
The thing is, we've talked before about the fact he did have a relegation release clause. So
that's his easy way out, isn't it?
I was going to say, so us not staying up would have been a piece of piss, probably more on his wages, because there'd have been the small transfer fee involved. So he can go to Barcelona and go, I know it was going to be 250 grand, but you've only had to pay 25 mil now. So how about 300? Yeah, there's money there for him, and the move was there for him anyway. I don't think that game will not have changed the opinion of anyone who was going to buy him. They will have just gone, yes, he's still good. And as it was, he did everything for us in that game, and he celebrated it properly as well.
So I said at the end of my report is that when it comes down to it, I think he is he's a fans player. He's probably got more in common with, for example, Pontus Jansson than you would expect from somebody wandering off to Barcelona. Somebody who really connects with the language barrier and stuff makes it more difficult for somebody from Brazil to connect with the fans in a similar way to Pontus, who has spoke very good English and has the European fan kind of understanding, but realises that when you play for a team, even if it's for 2 seasons and then you're moving on and you're getting your personal dream transfer, you do something for that club. It's the same as Andy Hughes. So I'm now comparing Raphinha to Andrew Hughes.
Former owner of this award's name.
Are you suggesting we're getting rid of Raphinha because he's not cut out for the level that we're going to?
But that's what he said when he said he did his sort of interview to say why he decided to leave a few months into the Championship, when he was saying he can't help us out of the division. He said he came to Leeds to get us promoted out of League One, and he did it, and he will always be able to say, I did something for Leeds United and something that I went there to do. Same with Gordon Strachan, who always kind of underrates winning the First Division title, because what he said he would do when he came to Leeds, he agreed with him, will get out of Division 2. And with Raphinha...
Same with Peter Sweeney.
It may not be what Raphinha came here to do, but when it came down to it, that what we needed to do was stay in the division, he made that his mission and made sure he left it behind.
And my one regret when it comes to Raphinha is that he never properly had his own song. It's quite hard to put the word Raphinha into a song, isn't it?
I mean, my regret with him is that we didn't build on last season and give ourselves the chance of keeping him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you never know. Stranger things have happened, although not many. He may stay, but you can't help but feel that ship has sailed. You know, that last season, finishing 9th, him being right at the centre of it, it felt like there was potential for us to grow, maybe with him and Calvin at the centre of it somehow, and build good players around them. And as it is,
this has been a very sobering season.
We've really regressed this season. And Raphinha, I don't think he's been quite as good as last season, but the stats will show that he's still...
Nobody has.
No, and the stats will show he's by far and away our most important player. So,
and at the risk of going back to what we were talking about on the other show about the kind of the looking too far forward to Jesse Marsh and the 2-year plan, it now looks in retrospect like, and this is if buts and maybes, but if halfway through the 2-year survival plan, having finished 9th, they'd torn that up and said, you know what, the money that we're going to give to Jesse Marsh or Manager X in 2022, let's spend it now and see what kind of team Bielsa can build with that kind of budget. The way that the team is performing now, add to Raphinha, don't change the style to something different. It's kind of like, it felt like concentrating on that longer term plan instead of seeing what happened and thinking, fuck, we could just get into Europe now.
Problem there, I think, is funds, isn't it? It's just we could not afford it. I think Radrizzani...
Everton can.
Well, can they?
That's it.
There's a difference between Radrizzani's wealth and that of the people who are behind Everton, and I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. And you can't get annoyed at somebody for not having enough money, can you? Even though people sort of have done and manifested itself in that way. Canos, as we mentioned, has been nominated numerous times for being a hero. Words like Tom's thrown around, pretentious.
You've missed out from knobhead,
douchebag on an interstellar level, says Wisconsin Todd. An enjoyably American insult is douchebag, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got?
For taking off his shirt like he just scored a cup final goal and then immediately hacking Rapha down, and then for laughing about it on social media to piss off their fans even more. It did kind of ruin their day when you looked at a lot of the stuff. They were like, I know they've had a great season, but I think it was the little cherry on top that they wanted to send us down, and they've been looking at it all week and thinking, it's going to happen, and then it came round. It's a bit like,
if you can't win a cup, which they never have, then I guess your next best thing would be to send Leeds United down.
Send a big club down.
We missed. I mean, you stopped with Wisconsin Todd after douchebag. He continued on such an interstellar level that he went through a sort of 2001 Space Odyssey Stargate style dickhead's wormhole, and his pantomime villainy actually worked in our favour, which probably sums up where he is. I hate him. I hate Sergej Canos and have done ever since the moment he headbutted the back of Gianni Alioski and got away with it. And I checked the record, and that's the game where Pontus Jansson got a 1-match ban for saying that he felt shit and that the referee had done a robbery. And then they looked at Sergej Canos doing a sneak attack, sucker headbutting somebody from behind, and went, that's fine. So I've always hated him since then. Well, I can't really make him a hero now.
No, Moscow. Lee and Cheese, you're going to be disappointed with what he's got to say. He says, Canos always liked him. Stand-up fella, credit to Brentford.
It was very polite of Lee.
Well, we're on people who helped us out by being idiots. Nathan Collins gets a few nominations for that insane handball in the Burnley game is what TJ refers to it as. I assume we've all seen it by now.
Yeah, I kind of understand what he's done, even though it's completely inexplicable, in that his body's reacted to where the ball's going and he's kind of lunged his entire body over, but obviously you lead with your arms for balance, don't you?
It looks more like he's actually deliberately punched it. Like he's realised it's going to go to a Newcastle player and he's gone, oh, no, can't have that. And he's forgotten VAR exists.
As soon as he makes contact, it's like he pulls his fist away. So it's like, what am I doing?
That's it. His body started lunging towards it, and then by the time he'd realised what he was doing, it had already happened, kind of thing. Good fun.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well done.
I love him.
Well
He's
done.
great. Let's sign him.
Great physical comedy.
21. Have some resale value in the future.
We've got nominations for fans, our fans who have had to endure this season, absolutely, and I think the fans sounded fucking amazing down at Brentford, by the way. Listen to it on the radio. The volume that was coming out of such a piddly away allocation, I thought was absolutely splendid.
And all those in the home stand as well. You've got to remember.
So we must have had our 3,000 allocation, even though we only got 1,700 in the away end. It's been one of the few real highlights of what has been a complete dog turd of a season, hasn't it? The atmosphere at home has, by and large, been excellent, despite some shite kick-off times as well, thanks to Sky. You can't get excited about Sunday 2 o'clock, can you?
The away atmosphere has always been really good. Through League One, it was brilliant. Through bad years in the Championship, it was brilliant. Elland Road was actually the bit where it was kind of let down because it was often half empty and it's not got the same sort of drunken day out vibe to it. I mean, it has for some people. If you're lucky enough to to be able to do that with your Saturday, it is good fun still. But it always sometimes just lacked that Elland Road. Whereas this year, it's been it's been good, and it's been great to be back as well. And it's nice that our first season back didn't end in relegation after not seeing a couple of brilliant moments of getting up and then staying up and looking really good last year.
It has been. I wonder if it is kind of like a pinball spring from COVID, but remember the promotion season didn't have as good an atmosphere at Elland Road as this season because it was like 16 years of nerves. So it just Phil Hay always called it the Elland Road the hum. Like you just hear this kind of like whereas this year it's been the Man City game and the Chelsea game when they scored their last goals and Elland Road celebrated more than the away fans just sums the place up this year. And it certainly wouldn't have been like if when Swansea got a late goal against us, there was certainly nobody like going like hey and it wasn't like a flippant hooray, doesn't matter, we kick on. It was pure defiance of like we're going to prove a point of whatever the end result of this season is, we will celebrate these goals more than you plastic Premier League sellouts. So let's hope that whatever they do to Elland Road from this point onwards retains some of that madness. Although not the missile throwing all the kids on the pitch. Those things have to stop.
You were right, though, Moscow, says Shay Cunningham.
I'm never right about anything. Pointing
out that the statutory 9 wins would be enough to keep us up.
And we are Brighton now.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who's said nice things about us in the comments. I think we're too modest to read them out. But
one of them is called "My name is." My voice cracked. My name is Dan Moylan, and I love cock,
which is correct. That is my life. Yeah, thank you for being with us this season. I know it's been a bit of a grind at times, but coming in here and doing this, and managing to find laughter in really shit, crap moments when the football's not being great. It's been good fun, so thank you to you gentlemen as well.
It's been good fun sometimes.
Lucy Loves Cock nominates us as well, so there's a bit of a...
And she says thanks for that in brackets as well, with a very cheeky emoji there as well.
There's a bit of a war going on between you and Lucy as to who loves cock more.
Well, we can both be fans of cock. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, there's plenty of it to go around, isn't there?
Yeah, so thank you everybody. Burnley stoppers.
Generic category, but yeah, like Tyrone Mings. We've always said good things to say about Tyrone Mings, haven't we? But his late
Tyrone Mings is effing great.
That's what we were singing, wasn't it? In the Burnley Villa game when it was played across the box and it looked like a tap in, and then there he was.
And it didn't
big spidery leg.
It didn't even matter for them, that game, did it?
Not in the end, but it felt big at the time.
No, for Villa.
Oh, for Villa. Oh, no.
Like, there was absolutely no need for Tyrone Mings to do that. And so I do actually now.
Let's spread the praise. Let's spread the praise. We've got the Saudi, great bunch of lads, the Saudis, for their sports washing activities and ensuring that they put together a good enough squad for the final day to beat Burnley.
Yep.
Newcastle.
All the new Callum Wilson with goals, obviously. He did well for us. They'll probably sell him next year, won't they? Buy like 6 other strikers for £1 billion each.
How long do you think Eddie Howe is their manager? They
can't sack him yet, can they?
Oh, he did bring Chris Wood on. I kept meaning to look this up. He came on for the last 20 minutes.
That's a spiteful substitution
in place of Alan St. Maximin. He was followed a minute later by Aaron Lennon, obviously for Burnley.
Scott's Oates, by the way, saying targets forehead, Weghorst short studs, both picked out as contributing to the outcome of the season.
That was a strange one as well. I don't know if he was injured, but Weghorst started on the bench for Burnley and came on at half-time for Connor Roberts, who was a defender. So did they start off really defensive and thinking it was Ashley Barnes, and I think they must have gone with Cornet through the middle. Yeah,
it was great. Oh, wasn't it great seeing Ashley Barnes' sad face on Match of the Day? That was one of the highlights.
They really screwed that game up.
I'm glad we don't have to play again. Well, I suppose he might sign for someone. I hope I don't have to see Ashley Barnes on a football pitch again. He's a dreadful presence.
He's not going to suit any modern, like, you think of the clubs that have come up. Fulham are not buying Ashley Barnes.
No.
I don't think what's the other one? Bournemouth, they're too nice. They won't sign Ashley Barnes. I mean, you can imagine him at Huddersfield. Not too far from Burnley.
He's 32, so I think he should just retire.
He'll probably just nicely fall down the leagues now, which is fine.
The elbow on, and maybe that's why Tyrone Mings was so determined to block that shot, because Barnes' elbow on him in the first few minutes of that match was just don't fucking do that.
Tyrone Mings is a peace-loving man as well. Yeah. He's never once assaulted anyone.
A pacifist, just like Mother Teresa and Gandhi. Right, let's rattle through some of these. We've got Tony DeRigo for his squealing. Riley and Richie in New Jersey enjoyed the DeRigo-gasm? It's been rechristened when stuff has happened. And I enjoyed the almost threatening picture of Tony DeRigo that was out on socials afterwards, where he's it looks like he's pulling back to punch the camera. It's like a bird's eye view of what it would be like to be punched by Tony DeRigo. Do you want
to bring him back in here and test his face?
Let's do it. He'd even speaking really nicely as he was punching you, wouldn't he? What would he say?
Really sorry, guys.
Just about to break your nose.
I'll try not to knock any teeth out. I feel like Jackie deserved more nominations. He got 1 from Keith for scoring
we have our favourites, don't we? Rafinha's basically, I mean, Rafinha's probably winning this for taking a typical dog shit corner. Like cleared at the front post that Harrison turned into something.
Did win and score a penalty.
Let's wrap up the other ones.
But Keith does rightly point out scored our first goal in the Premier League and then another one to keep us in it at the weekend. So he's always weird as Harrison. He's had quietly quite a decent season. Like he's got a decent number of goals.
But he's unspectacular, isn't he?
And he has games where he looks bad. But then I think people sometimes forget about the good ones.
Yeah. Oh, last season he got 8. I was confused then because I was looking at the stats and I was like, when did Stuart Dallas score 8 goals? And now I know. Last season. This season, top scorer Raphinha 11, and then Harrison got 8.
He's done well. He's done
all since the turn of the year as well. So he's another one. He's kind of.
What I like about Jackie is that he works hard to get his results, doesn't he? He really, really does work hard to the point of annoyance with his bloody fitness antics. Makes the rest of us look bad.
His good bits on Sunday weren't just the goal as well. It was when he was he wasn't wasting time, but he was very cleverly retaining possession on the wing and dribbling and taking on like 3 players just because it gets us into a dangerous position and it takes ages. So we weren't conceding any goals while Jackie Harrison had the ball. I think he played really well.
I still haven't seen Sunday's game. Just occurred to me because I listened to it. I've obviously seen the highlights and the important bits and Match of the Day and stuff. I need to go back and watch the full 90.
I don't think it was very good, generally speaking.
You and Thomas Frank.
Yes.
It was a bad game.
Hey, listen, we're going long. Let's wrap the rest up. So lilac kit. Joe says the sexy colour lilac at Leeds United's lilac kit. Always been a great colour kit. We should move on from yellow and keep lilac forever. Add it to the badge.
Don't give them ideas.
The Pontus conspiracy gets a hero nomination. Joe likes that. Noticed that it was, as we pointed out there, the key pass came from Pontus back to Raya. Dream Calvin.
Yeah, this is KP who nominates Calvin Phillips, which is all getting a bit confusing. But because Calvin came to me in a dream on Saturday night, he put his arm around me and told me not to worry. It might be okay, and he might not leave.
Thank you, Dream Calvin.
I love you.
Oh, it's like one of those teen fantasy movies, isn't it? Something like that. Greenwood gets a nomination as well for the little bit of shithousing in front of the Brentford fans when he was walking around the edge of the pitch.
Couple for Jesse as well.
Yep.
Benjani says that he says the Saudi war chest. Also Jesse Marsh. Still kind of hate him, but kept us up. And this might be the only chance he gets to win it.
That's really unfair.
Jesse also gets a nice nomination from Nathaniel as well. It says based on his comments, he's clearly seen some of the online debate around him. So credit to him for shutting it out, instilling some character back into this side, keeping us up, and making me excited for next season.
Yeah,
that's nice, isn't it?
It is.
He's done what we needed him to do. It may not have been with style and panache, but in the end, points are all there. And I liked us in the Brighton game. I liked us even more in the Brentford game. So it's all right. Well done, Jesse.
Getting there. We're getting there. And we'll see what happens next season, won't we? So the hero, is it Raphinha, as he probably leaves us, almost certainly?
For the last time.
We made mugs for him, for God's sake. We sent them to him and he liked them, and now he's going to leave. And I hope he doesn't chuck those mugs in the bin.
I drank out of my Raphinha mug before the game.
I did.
If I was a superstitious person, I would look at that as a sign. I would also look at the fact I drink out of it all the time, and we don't win very often, so never mind.
He didn't just like the mugs. He posed on Instagram pretending to drink out of one with the fanzine with him on the front, and also the t-shirts that we'd done all arranged beautifully as if it was like a staged promotional photograph. And we never asked him to do any of that. We just said, we're making some merch with you on it, so here is some for you, because it's a bit weird that we're making stuff with your face on if you don't have any. And he did all of that himself. So he seems like a good fella, doesn't he? And you can see now why the Rennes fans the Rennes, I won't be able to say much longer unless somebody from Rennes was so mad to see him leave, because he makes your team good, doesn't he? And he
is. I'll miss him.
And he's not a distant for a Premier League player. He feels a little bit. There's a connection with him that you don't get with some of the robots at this level.
And given he's now at least a sort of 60 to 100 million pound footballer, doesn't even have someone manage his Instagram account, does he? By the looks of it, it seems very much like just his own work, which is, I think, is probably fairly rare for someone in that kind of a bracket, because you can see that people like Calvin have obviously reached a point where someone's gone, we'll just do this for you.
Don't change, Rapha.
No, and
don't even move clubs.
I was going to say, don't change club.
Don't change your
refuse
address,
to leave.
Thanks to him, he's been amazing, hasn't he? Great to watch, and I wish we could have seen more of him.
We still might.
We still might. But
on a Tuesday night in the Champions League, as Moscow was saying, we'll be free to watch that now. We're not going to be in the Championship.
You need to watch Huddersfield on iFollow. Or
it's a very fond farewell, because he has given us his everything, and he cares a great deal, doesn't he? Probably.
Do you think Barcelona will let him take corners?
I hope so.
Long throws.
Well, there you go then. Is he our hero of the week then, Rapha?
Yeah, why not?
And I think a secondary nomination or a cap doffed, just to Leeds United Football Club for pulling it back round when it needed to happen. So well done, everyone.
But don't ever do anything like that again. We really can't stress that enough. I don't want to go to a last day again. I don't know. A last day battle for sixth next year. That will be acceptable.
I mean, finishing 9th last season didn't really take the edge off the end of the season, did it? It was still quite fun. West Brom, maybe it was because 10,000 people could get in, and so that was new, but it still felt like, we can enjoy this match without there being anything on the line. So maybe we can experiment with that again next season, of just getting to the last few weeks and it all just being fine.
I agree completely. Let's wrap up the show there then. Thank you for your company. We're off doing our charity walk this week as well, so if you could chuck us a couple of quid, thesquareball.net/Gary Speed for the links to the two charities, which is Andy's Man Club and the Samaritans. If you can't afford it, can't spare the money, we understand, give it a retweet, pump it out there for your friends, and spread the word. We've already raised an absolute load of money. We haven't even set off yet. We could just can it, couldn't we? We've done the hard work now.
I think that's almost theft.
Oh, right, okay.
So let's do it. Let's do the walk.
Well, the charities would still get the money.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but we'll be shortchanging people.
Watch this space. No,
yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll
It'll
do
be
it.
good fun. And
We'll do it, or we will injure ourselves very badly trying to do it.
What I'll say is there's going to be like a Google Maps thing, isn't it? That what you're able to track your phone and find out where you are at least. Anyway,
I mean, Matt Letizia says they're already doing it, so
Yeah.
I might as well make it a public link.
Well, why not? Take care. Thank you for your company across this season. We will be back next week. Sorry, we're not going anywhere, and we'll speak to you then. See you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.